Okay, so here's the deal. I'm sure some of you already watching know what voice acting is, but there are a few of you who don't, and there are a few of you who just want to get into voiceover but don't really know where to start because you either might have heard some stuff that made you a little confused, or there was just something along your path that was like, okay, well, what does this really mean, sort of thing. So I'm going to get into this and we're going to unpack it. Now, the first thing I really want to emphasize is the definition of voiceover, right? Because the definition of voiceover and the definition of voice acting are synonymous. They are one and the same with each other, but there are times where they can be very different. There are times where there is a separation between voice acting, we'll get to that acting part a little bit later, and voice over. All you need to know for voice over is that when it's used in a synonymous way with voice acting, it's just generally meaning vocal performance. You giving a vocal performance for an audience or for some person, a client or somebody you might be working for, anything like that, right? So that's what that means. You're giving a vocal performance. Remember to keep that in your mind, especially when it comes to voice acting. Voice acting is most of the time, if not most, then this literally means, that's how I'll phrase it, vocal performance, as I said, but specifically vocal performance for fictional characters, right? This could be video game characters, this can be animation characters, this could be a CGI character for a live action film, or just a CGI film, right? That's what voice acting is used for in the entertainment industry. It's used to bring to life characters that aren't physically present and physically real. So yeah, that's pretty much what that's for. Now, to really unpack this, right, the best way that I want to, I'm gonna have to ask you guys a specific question, and this question is very important question to ask yourself personally. So this is going to vary from person to person, but the question is, what is the purpose for you doing this? What is your goal, your motivation, your ultimately your purpose in doing voiceover? What is it about voiceover, voice acting specifically, that it is that you want to do? I say this because for me personally, it took a very long time for me to figure that question out. I knew that it was something that I was very interested in, but I really didn't have a proper goal. And so this is a very important question to ask yourself. There are some people I know that want to do voice acting just because they want to be able to bring characters to life. They want to be able to bring these characters to life and just, really have fun with it, really enjoy the character because they might be genuinely interested in the character. Another person might want to do voice acting because they really enjoy the process of voiceover and the type of, personal connections they might make with some people. So it is a very important question to ask. So when it comes to actually doing voice acting, there seems to be a little bit of a misconception that you need to be able to do 1,000 funny voices, or you need to have this incredible range in order to do voiceover. That is simply not true. Acting is a word in voice acting, and like real acting, you need to convince the audience that that character is a real person. Just because you as an individual voiced a few characters that might sound the same in personality, in how they think, and how they breathe, and how they eat, and how they drink, and how they live their life, they are fundamentally different from another character that you might have voiced having a similar voice style or having a similar range. So that's something very important to keep in mind. Acting is a skill that you need to build upon, and it is something that can get better over time. It's like drawing, it's like painting, it's like doing anything that requires you to gain higher skill level. As we don't live in a video game, but it's the best way I can describe it. You go through a process in which the skill gets better and better. The more and more you practice, the more and more you gain experience. Now, what is range? When I actually talk about it, range is the ability to pitch your voice. From what I understand, this might not be the correct definition, but from how from voiceover artists that I've seen or spoken to or whatever, The way how they usually describe this, the way how they usually talk about range has to do with the pitch of the voice, whether your voice can go really, really high or really, really low, right? And that's something you do want to find, and it is something that you will find naturally. I will say a lot of voiceover artists have experienced this. They do it, they start out, they don't really have a grand range, but they do it for so long that they start to find things about their voice they didn't even know about. When you're trying to look for these things in the beginning on purpose, not only are you going to discourage yourself, but you're also not going to put in the actual work, which is the acting part that I emphasized earlier. You're not going to put in the actual work because you're too worried about the range. The range will come naturally. The range will come when it's supposed to, right? Again, like comparing it to drawing. That skill, you learning how to articulate your art in a way where it's like, oh snap, he was able to make that look like it jumped out of the page, right? And there's people who do those like crazy like drawings that look like they're realistic 3D. That comes naturally over time with experience. So it's the same thing with range, you know, voice acting. You go, you do your performance, you continue to do that, and eventually you'll find that stuff out. And it's an incredible journey when you actually go on it. I want to share some exercises with you guys to actually help you with the acting ability. So some of these things are like character card exercises, right? So pretty much how this works is you look for a character, you know, you go on Google or something, see whatever you find and try to give them a voice. Don't do an impression if you see an official character. What you want to do is look at that character and see them for who they are. You're going to give them a voice that is suitable for the character of who they are. One of the other exercises too, this one is pretty cool because there's certain things that can be done with it, but improv. This is a little bit vague because it mostly depends on how and you know what you want to do. But for me personally, what I like to do is just imagine a random character and just start speaking, right? Just start speaking and acting, right? So I'll put myself in a certain type of scene or scenario where something is happening, right? Like let's say, I don't know, somebody's dying on the floor, right? And I'm like, oh no, this person is dying on the floor, right? You know, that's what you want to do. You want to act out as if that situation is happening now, you know. Just look up something on Google, like a random scenario generator or something like that, and just see whatever it gives you, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do that. It's gonna be interesting, I'll tell you that, because once you start getting into it, it'd be like, whoa. Now, there is one more type of exercise that you could do. This would fall more into line of impressions, sort of, not really. And I'll explain this. So what you could do is try to reenact certain scenes from your favorite TV show, from your favorite movie, from your favorite book, whatever it might be. For instance, Dragon Ball Z. I like Dragon Ball Z. If I was watching like a scene, right, of Goku fighting Vegeta for the first time, I'm going to do my own version of whether it be Goku or Vegeta. And I'm not going to do an impression. I'm just going to look at the characters for who they are. And I'm going to apply whatever voice, you know, I decide might fit them and try to reenact that. Try to reenact that the most authentic way and organic way as possible. You know, really putting in acting ability into that. So these exercises can really help you in doing this. That's pretty much it for as far as what can be done if you're a beginner as a voice actor. So that's pretty much it for this video. I'm very happy with it, and I hope you guys did enjoy. And this is just one out of many videos I'm going to do on this particular series. I want to get a conversation going in the comments down below as far as how is your experience with voiceover, what made you want to do it, and where you are now in your journey. And just if you can help anybody down in the comments below as far as, you know, other exercises, other tips and advice, you know, be more than welcome to do that. So yeah, guys, I'm going to see you in the next video. Again, let me know what you thought down below. And if you guys have any, you know, questions or concerns, just let me know. I'll see you guys in the next video. God bless and take care.